Hi friend, it's your girl Geefs. Let's talk softball.
Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk NCAA Division I softball regionals. We've got 5 storylines I think are important to how this upcoming weekend is going to go. First up, OU. I think everybody's wondering, can OU 5-peat? I think they can. I think everybody is gunning for OU. They obviously have built a strong program. They have 8 overall national titles, 4 in the last 4 years alone. Coach Patty Gasso, she has been breeding champions. There's no other way to put it. Their motto is championship mindset. And what I admire about this new 2025 class is that they're not worried about the last 4. Of course, the seniors that graduated in 2024, they had an impeccable run. 4 championships every single year that they were there is an amazing feat. But this group, they graduated many seniors. They had, I believe, maybe 5 or 6 returners. I talked about this in my opening weekend Yap video, but they have a young team, and everyone thought, including Coach Patty Gasso, that maybe they would have a rebuilding year, or maybe they would be working their way back to what the seniors who graduated last year were able to do. And they smashed all of that. They have been pretty much matching all of those numbers, home run for home run. The only thing I think that is down a little bit, and I'll have to correct myself if I'm wrong, but is their fielding percentage. I think is a little bit lower than where it has been in the past couple years. But overall, I think that's really just because, one, they've moved over from the Big 12 to the SEC, which is notoriously a tougher conference. I think what their mindset, this 2025 team, I like that they've approached this, and they've said this in many an interview. They've approached this saying, hey, we're not worried about the last 4. We are worried about winning one for us, for this squad. And I think that is the most important thing to note. Yeah, what more can be said? I think the people to look out for, my game changer for this team is Nelly McEnroe Marinas, and she's a redshirt freshman. She's their captain this year, and you'll hear it, I'm sure, throughout the whole tournament. They will constantly be talking about how she has stepped up and she's a leader, and obviously she sat out last year, so she's not a true freshman, but she still is young. I mean, that's a redshirt freshman being the captain. They look up to her. You can see in her presence on the field and the way she attacks every pitch, every play. They feed off of her, and I would say my game changer 1A would have to be Gabby Garcia, and she is a true freshman. Those two, especially being on the right side of the infield, or left side of the infield, they are crushing it. Not just crushing the ball, but crushing it. I think you can see their energy every single time they're up to bat. Even if they get out, they are tough outs every single time. And I think that is just amazing. Anyways, my storyline number 2. Storyline number 2 for me has to be, can Texas beat Texas? Something happens to Texas every single year. They make it deep. The last 2 of 3 years, they have made it to the championship series with Oklahoma and lost. And some of the losses they have had have been pummelings, to be honest. And some of their losses, they beat themselves with errors, with swinging out of the zone. And something happens to Texas. I don't know what it is, but something seems like they are holding themselves back, and they're just to me, they're competing with themselves. The game changer for me with Texas has to be Mia Scott. And obviously, if we have to pick a 1A, it's got to be Reese Atwood. Those two are leaders of the team. They are the spark plugs for the offense. And to me, I think the Texas defense has looked so much better this year than it has in the past 3 years, if we're being honest. The past 3 years, especially the year they were unseeded and made it all the way to the championship series, led by one of my favorites, Janae Jefferson. But I think the important thing for Texas is definitely going to be them not beating themselves. And I think it's going to be a rough go at it, considering the way that they left the SEC tournament by getting pummeled by Texas A&M. But hey, they've got to pull it together and somehow make a good run if they want to get back to Oklahoma City and get to the 2025 Women's College World Series. And now that brings up my third storyline. So storyline number 3, we are gonna have to go with Texas A&M. This is the first time in school history where they are the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. To me, I can't even pick one game changer for this team. It's got to be Coco Woolley, Mac Barbara, KK DeMette. Their lineup, and I think they personally are coming off of a high, even though they didn't get to play their game against OU in the SEC championship. The way that they beat up on Texas, that game was insane. I think I had to turn it off. I just was like, well, this isn't going great for Texas. They ended up beating them in 5 innings, and it was just, from a Texas A&M standpoint, it was a great game. They were bashing, they were getting, it was their lineup could do no wrong. They were all in on the fun, and I think that is how they have to approach the game. They have to kind of play with this chip on their shoulder, and I think they have proven to the doubters, and I'm gonna say I was definitely one of them. I said this in one of my previous videos. I did not peg Texas A&M to be the number 1 overall seed at the end of this season. I for sure thought it would be a close call between Texas and OU and maybe even Tennessee. And then Texas A&M, they have really, they have outdone themselves, if I'm being honest. And to me, if I had to pick game changer 1 and then 1A and then 1B, it would definitely be KK DeMette, the freshman. She is just, I think she's an exciting player to watch. So if you needed a player to watch, KK DeMette is one. Then I've got, if I had to pick 1A, it's definitely going to be Coco Woolley, their shortstop. All out for every play, every ball. And then when she's at bat, the speed, she puts pressure on every single defense. And then Mac Barbara, if she is seeing the ball that day, it is going far. Whether it's a double or whether it's a home run, it is going to fly. Have storyline number 4. Now, I'm gonna go with home runs or pitchers duels. I think there is a lot of power in all of these teams, especially in the top 16. OU has hit 102 home runs, Florida's hit 97, UCLA's hit 86. What can you say? And then you have pitchers with sub-1 ERAs in Nigeri Kennedy at Texas Tech, and Carlin Pickens at Tennessee. insane. And then you have other pitchers who are, I mean, absolutely killing it. You've got Jordy Ball at Nebraska, and I mean, I could keep going down the list. Like, even surprise pitchers for me. I think like Ole Miss has a staff that really showed out in the SEC tournament. I think they made it much farther than I think anyone had anticipated. So I'm really excited to watch them play as well. I think Ole Miss could definitely be a surprising upset for a couple of teams if we see them make it out of their regional and then make it out of their super regional as well. Last but not least, storyline number 5. To me, it's always about defense. Defense wins championships. And as a Yankee fan, if you remember the 5th inning, I'm not going to go into details about it. I may insert a clip, but yeah, defense wins championship. And to me, you've got Arkansas leading the pack of the seeded teams with a fielding percentage of .985. Oregon right behind them with a fielding percentage of .982. They combined have only committed 46 errors on the season, and that is just insane. I think the defense is going to dictate whether or not teams take advantage and turn some of those defensive miscues into maybe 2-run home runs or 3-run home runs. I think that will be the difference, especially against some of this A1 pitching that I'm sure we will see throughout the tournaments. Now, because I think defense wins championships, I just think that this also means that the batting averages and the way that some of these batting averages are off the charts, like team batting averages, you've got Arkansas's got a team batting average of 323, FSU with 355, Texas has a batting average of 354, right behind FSU. And first of all, actually, let's pause and shout out FSU for being the only non-SEC team to be a top 8 seed. And that means, for those of y'all who are unaware, top 8 seeds, they will, as long as they make it out of their regional, they will also host a super regional. And so yeah, it'll be a sight to see. So most of these games are going to be happening. We in the South, we've got A&M, OU, Florida, Arkansas. Aside from the one ACC team in FSU, we've got Texas, Tennessee, South Carolina. So it'll be interesting to see. And then we've got the bottom half of those seedings. We've got UCLA at 9, LSU, Clemson, Texas Tech, Arizona, Duke, Alabama, Oregon. And so I'm so curious to see who makes it out of their regionals, because to me, bonus storyline is, there's got to be an upset. There's always an upset brewing. I'm wondering, will it be an unseeded team? In 2022 we saw Texas go unseeded and make it all the way, not only to the Women's College World Series, but to the championship game. And that is not that's not really heard of. Like, that just doesn't really happen. Like, so I wonder if we will watch some upsets in the regionals, or if we will have to wait until supers to see some upsets. And so yeah, I'm very curious. So other things for me, I think some freshmen to watch. We've got Gabby Garcia. I mentioned her when I talked about OU. Gabby Garcia, to me, freshman to watch. She sees the ball so well. She makes phenomenal plays at shortstop. She is, along with Nellie Mack, a game changer for OU. When she is on, and I've rarely seen a time this season where she is off. And then you've got Tori Edwards at LSU, 2025 Freshman of the Year. I think there's not much you can say. There's no words really to say about her. She's hitting .403. She's got an on-base percentage. On base percentage of 510 and slugging of 844 is just insane. 2025 Freshman of the Year, just like it's only up from here. And then my third freshman to watch, that I mentioned, from Texas A&M, their game changer is KK DeMent. She runs down the ball well in the outfield. She uses her speed to put pressure on every single defense when she's up at bat. These freshmen, they are part of the reason why, to me, this year it really is anybody's game. And I do think, while it is OU's versus everybody, it definitely is anybody's game still. I think it has never been more obvious that it's been anybody's game, because I think I was watching the selection show for the first time being like, is OU going to be the number 1 seed? Will it be Texas A&M? I also think there's a little bit of bias of maybe wanting to see OU take a downfall, not from me, but from maybe the selection committee and the softball powers that be, because why was there no OU finalists for Player of the Year? You're telling me a team that yes, I understand, they graduated 11 seniors, I believe, 11 seniors, and don't have a ton of returners, but you're telling me that someone like Ella Parker, who's battling injuries and still raking in runs, somebody like Nellie Macaron-Marinas, Gabby Garcia wasn't a top 25 finalist for Player of the Year? You've got to be kidding me. There's just no way. It's insane to me. But yeah, that's all I got. So for me, I think last up is 2 games I'm going to be watching. It's my alma mater, Howard, playing in the Durham Regional at Duke. They'll be playing at 12 noon on ESPN Plus and ACC Network. Then we've got the Baton Rouge Regional. This will be a great game. You've got the power of UConn and the pitching of Jordy Ball in Nebraska at the Baton Rouge LSU Regional, starting at 3 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Can't wait to see them. I hope you'll be watching, because I will too. There is so many games on. A field of 64, and that field of 64 will go from 64 to 16, and those 16 will be moving on to supers. Out of those 16, we'll get down to 8, and 8 will be headed to the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City. Drop in the comments who your favorite team is, who your favorite player is, and who you think could possibly get upset. All right, I'll catch you later. Bye.